Alright, guys.
What's up, guys? How's it going? Welcome to another One Dream Fishing podcast. Today, we're going to be doing our last 3 events, which include an outlaw event at Lake Sam Rayburn, an ACS at Lake Dardanelle, Millwood at Lake Millwood, and then an ACA at Lake Dardanelle once again. That guy right there. ACA at Lake Dardanelle. Sadly, we had to go back to that lake. We'll start out with Rayburn. My practice, as some of y'all may know, that is like my favorite lake ever. My practice, we got on like a little bit of a frog bite, which we thought we could get like maybe 1 or 2 kickers. And then my favorite thing to throw at Rayburn is a Senko. And I shook off a ton of fish and just thought we had a really good thing going into tournament day. I felt like we could get probably upwards of probably 17, 18 pounds, but that didn't pan out exactly how I hoped on tournament day. There was about 105 mile an hour wind and about 16-foot waves out of takeoff. Now, if some of y'all don't know Sam Rayburn, it is very big, and it is very long going.
It's like a big V.
Yeah, basically. But one side of the V is like that long. It's like not a right looking V.
Yeah. And the wind was blowing right down that
more
side.
More like a check mark.
Yeah. Backwards check.
A backwards check. That's what Sam Rayburn looked. A backwards check mark.
Just go look at it.
You heard it here on the ODF podcast. Sam Rayburn is a backwards check mark. But we got out, and we were down at the very bottom of the lake at Humphreys, and we were running basically to the 147 bridge, and it was literally like my butt was never actually on the seat. Like, I was in the air the entire time. I was actually jumping up and down from the waves so much that I got like leather burn on my back from the run up to the spot. It was pretty brutal, and it wasn't warm either, so it kind of sucked.
Yeah.
But we made it up to the spot, and nothing was there. Absolutely nothing. Like, not one fish. Everywhere I shook off a fish, there was nothing there. And I started kind of freaking out because, like, this is my home lake. I need to show out. And just started scrambling, which is not the best thing to do, and just, like, trying to figure out something. Running around with like a chicken with your head cut off is not recommended, but we ended up running to one of the places. I'm like, if we can't get a fish here, there's something wrong. We went there, and I actually never caught a fish, which is very depressing. But my partner got a 298, and then we went back out to the main lake, and we realized it had turned into the Atlantic Ocean. And at that time, conveniently, the trim on the outboard just decided it didn't want to work. So we were basically idling, and it was basically like I was in Splash Town in the boat till we got to the other side of the lake, and it was just completely drenched. Nothing was dry. It was pretty bad, and then we fished on the other side of the lake for about an hour, and just weren't able to make anything happen. And then all of a sudden, when we had to run back, it was just beautiful calm. I don't know why it decided to do that, but that's just how it happened. And we ended up weighing 298, which is just plain terrible on Sam Rayburn. It's my one just like spoof college event that I just don't want to talk about. But they had a little bit better of a day. I'll let y'all talk about it.
Alright, so
tell them about our history.
So first off, just like Jacob, for me personally, I don't know about Mark, but that's definitely my favorite lake to fish. It's just literally got everything you can want. You could go fish a brush pile deep. You could go throw a trap or Cinco up shallow.
You could fish brush pile. Wait.
If y'all haven't fished Sam Rayburn, it is like a bass fishing wonderland out there.
It is awesome.
Yes.
There is probably the biggest population per like square mile of water out of any lake I've been to.
And there is big ones. It's not like you just go out and catch like 2-pounders. It's just like 2-pounder, and then like an 8. That's what's
Usually
so cool.
that's what happens.
Yeah, and so this year, I think we've pretty much chalked it down to there's like no hydrilla.
Yeah,
everywhere.
there's like barely no it's fishing weird right now. There's like barely no hydrilla. For those of you who don't know it, it is usually prominent amounts of hydrilla just everywhere. But there was none.
Yeah, there was a big old like a flood in it. How much is it? Like 10 foot?
It was 10 feet high. Yeah.
So what were we talking?
Where were we?
We were talking about. So basically, there was a huge flood on Rayburn.
Yeah, it
earlier
was
this year.
literally up. I think it was up like almost 14 or 15 foot. It was to the point where usually like the 147 bridge, when you're under it, you're looking up about 12 to 13 feet. And to put it in perspective, at the peak of Sam Rayburn's flood, it was so high that people were breaking their power poles when they were running under it because they did not fit. And there was actually one day, before it was at the peak of its flood, that I was driving in a truck across 147 and Sam Rayburn was rough, and I got hit by a wave on top of the bridge. That's how high it was.
Cool.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
A wave
went
bridge.
over the bridge.
Were there
Hit
cars
the
driving
truck.
on the bridge?
Yeah.
Oh, you
You've
were
never seen the
truck.
videos of it. Look up videos
my
of it.
God,
There's
it's crazy.
waves coming over
I did
the
not know
bridge.
that.
That's terrifying.
You're just driving, and it's raining. You're like, oh, it's not that bad. Whoosh!
And your whole truck sweeps off the bridge. That's
That is
crazy.
scary.
I mean, it wasn't like a 18-foot wave that just took us. It was like
Tsunami.
you just got hit by the wave. It was crazy though. It was a lot of water.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Yeah, so basically, that's what we chalked up. All the grass is gone, basically, 'cause all that grass was just flooded out, basically. Yeah. So, I don't know, most of the fish, I think that were staying shallow. Most of the years are really just sitting out in brush piles now is what we've really kind of chalked down. So, so basically, Mark and I have a little success at Rayburn. During our high school days, we fished THSBA, and we won the state tournament out there.
Which is the Texas High School Bass Association, which if you live in Texas and your school is not fishing for them, y'all need to make a team because they are a great organization. So we love them. We loved fishing for them. It was
they're awesome.
how we got our start. So it was amazing. But yeah, in 2018, we won the state championship, which was the biggest tournament all year. There was 225 boats, and me and Reese won $20,000 from THSBA.
It's ridiculous.
So yeah, so we both got 10 each, and now we're using that as scholarship money here at college.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
would it be your first time back on Rayburn since then?
Yeah, since then it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, so
'Cause
2 years
it's our
later.
favorite lake, and we live like not far from it.
We were just so busy fishing other tournaments, we never had time. But yeah, this is our first time back on there, so we still had our waypoints from 2 years ago. So we started running them, and first thing in the morning, we had our limit spot, and like first 5 minutes in the morning, Reese catches a 7-pounder.
on a frog.
On a
It was so
frog.
great.
It was awesome. We'll show you all a picture.
Yeah, so basically what we were doing was there's an area and it's just literally just flooded cypress trees, and so there's not really much in that whole area that we're around. It's like super unique in that area. So a frog and flipping was just kind of the way to go in there. And there was a little isolated tree or a little bush outside of us on a point, and I was like, I'm gonna catch this fish real quick. Threw in there, bop bop. He didn't even need his first cast. Like, what the heck? There's gotta be a fish there. Flip back, donk, and boat flipped it. Of course, that's what you gotta do. And
Flipper.
yeah, so we were like, okay, there's big fish here. We just kind of knew that area had fish just from like previous experience on the lake, and we caught some fish there. And we're like, all right, we're done. We're getting out of this area, and I think we tried another creek. It was really well known for always having hydrilla in it.
Yeah.
Nothing no hydrilla
No.
anywhere.
Everybody was in there. You could see all the boats. They were out in the middle just scanning.
They knew that there had to be hydrilla there.
I mean,
there
there's
was
probably
nothing.
6 or 7 other boats in there just scanning, and they weren't finding anything.
Yeah.
So then we started running brush piles. I think we had 6 or 7.
Yeah, something like that.
And the first 3,
Nothing.
nothing. And then we had one that we were going to go fish, but there was a boat on it, so we came back later in the day, and we both got bit, right? Did we
Yeah.
catch one out of it?
No, I think I got bit twice.
Yeah.
And I felt like one was big when I
Yeah.
swung on it.
Yeah,
So we were like, okay, there's fishing.
so we had one brush pile.
Yeah, what's funny is that is the brush pile that during the state tournament that we fished was the only one we couldn't get bit out of.
Yeah,
All the
so-
other ones that we got bit out of, we couldn't get bit in. So it's just
So it was
cool how it
reversed.
changed. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's pretty much all we had going into the tournament. We had 1 day of practice.
yeah.
So, tournament day, we went back to where Reese caught that 7-pounder on the frog. You know, we just knew there's going to be more big fish in there. And we could not catch one over 2 pounds.
No, I mean we did later, but we literally
Yeah.
started that area and there was a bunch of schoolers like everywhere, and I really haven't seen that in a while. It was
Yeah.
cool, but it was cool and frustrating because we expected there to be some big ones in there,
Right.
and we were just going through, and they were chewing the frog, and Mark was smoking them on his Texas rig. We caught fish like all
Morning.
back to back.
Yeah,
So it was
caught a lot
really
of
cool.
fish. Just couldn't get any size.
Yeah,
So, I think we had a limit at
8 o'clock at 8:30.
8:30 for, what was it, 8-9 pounds?
8-9 pounds.
Yeah,
And if you know Rayburn, 8-9 pounds is nothing.
That
So,
ain't going to cut it.
Yeah. And something actually really funny happened. So we were actually fishing in the morning, and I got smoked on my frog. And so
Oh,
basically, I casted a cypress tree, and I'm looking at Mark because I heard some fish blow up. I'm like, you gonna throw it to that? And I'm like reeling my bait out, and I have like 8 foot of slack out, and it's just like my line's all slack. And I just hear a fish blow up on my frog. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I grab my rod and just throw it back, and this fish just flies like a kite all the way around and just smokes the front of the deck. And it's so funny. It was like, it just caught me off guard.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a keeper, but it was just like ridiculous. I've never done that to a fish before.
God. Dang it, dude. Did you see that? Oh my god. Oh my god, dude, you ejected him from the water. Dude, it was just...
We'll show y'all the video.
Yeah, we'll probably put that in.
Yeah, we'll roll that in there.
But yeah, anyway, so we had our limit, and we just decided at about 9 o'clock that we were like, all right, we gotta make a move. Like, there's no big fish in here. So we went to our brush pile that we had, the only brush pile that we got bit in practice, and we pulled up. It was a little windy. We spot locked, and we started casting to it, and I missed one, and then I threw back in there, and then catch a 4.5 pounder,
Yeah, 4.5.
yeah, 4.5 pounder. We'll show y'all a clip. And then Reese catches one about 2 3/4, 3 pounds.
Yeah.
And did we cull once or twice?
I think we culled.
Or I mean, twice or 3 times.
I think we culled 3 times.
Yeah, we got rid of 3 fish.
Yeah, I think we caught 4 fish off it and 3 of them cold.
Yeah.
And it was really cool because if you fish a lot of brush piles, you really can tell there's a sweet spot in most brush piles.
Mhm.
I don't know why, but Mark was on, so like we had the back of the boat facing our brush pile. Mark was on the right side, I was on the left. We were both casting at it, and Mark was on that right side, and there was a sweet spot right up where he was like, if you cast it directly in front of him. And so he was like, just first cast, like, I don't know, right when we got there, he
Yeah.
was catching fish. I was like, I can't get a bite on this side. And so like I switched to that side, I caught some, and we were
But
just like,
I was throwing a 10-inch worm, and that's where I caught my big one. And then I stopped getting bit, and then we switched sides,
Yeah.
and Reese was throwing a football jig.
yeah. And I was just hopping over the edge, and they were just smoking it. So it was just cool to see that little sweet spot paying out on that brush pile.
There was actually a guy, an older man, fishing the other side of the brush pile. And I mean, he was like literally tying on the same bait. He was looking like, he was so close to us that he could see what bait we were throwing. And he was fishing on the other side of the brush pile. And he saw me catch a fish on that 10-inch worm, so he ties one on, and he's fishing, and he's not catching anything. And we catch like 4 fish.
Yeah, he's throwing a weightless wacky rig
Yeah,
in
and then he
18 foot of water. And it was just
But you can literally see him in the
It was-
video working all sides of the brush pile, and we're just sitting there catching fish.
Yeah.
But anyways, we ended up with 14 pounds, and it was about 12:30, and we were 40 minutes from weigh-in, and we get a call from Jacob and Ryan, and we were kind of off in the creek, so we hadn't seen the main lake, and they say, hey, have y'all seen how crazy the main lake is? Y'all might want to start.
This was currently when I was in Splashdown.
Yeah. They were like, y'all might want to consider heading back now so y'all aren't late. And we're like, what? Because where we were, it was slick calm.
Yeah.
We were like, okay.
It only took us 20 minutes to get to our spot in the morning.
Yeah.
So we're like, it won't take us but an hour.
Yeah, no.
At the max. Nope. Yeah, so basically after that, we just decided to head straight down there. We're like, we're not gonna.
Yeah.
I don't feel like being late.
It was the roughest ride of my life. I thought I was going to tear my nitro in half.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll roll a clip of
Yeah,
that.
well-
I didn't. Didn't actually get a video of it, but they did. It's pretty insane. It looks like the nitro is just about to just straight in half.
I'll tell you how bad it was. I have I have a 4-bank battery charger, and all 4 of my batteries are strapped down, and all 4 of them, the buckles that are clamped, they all busted. That's how hard we were bouncing on the waves.
I could feel my brain shaking in my head.
We were hitting the waves so hard, I thought I was like getting a concussion
Yeah.
every time we landed. It was insane.
Yeah, so basically after that we somehow survived the trip down, and Mark and I just decided to fish a little underwater point by the ramp. We didn't have any experience there, so it looked like there was just some rocks there, but we fished it, didn't catch anything out. So just kind of killed time until weigh-in. Went to weigh-in. I think what was it, 14.6 or something.
14 something.
Yeah.
But we got 11th place, and they paid the top 10. So we were right out of the money. But 11th place, 66 teams. It wasn't a bad tournament, but it was definitely an experience.
Yeah.
So then, I think this was our first break. Was after Rayburn. I think we had like a week off, and the next one was an ACS at Millwood, which is supposedly one of Arkansas's better lakes. So we were kind of pumped to see it. It's got a lot of cypress trees, a lot of stuff that a lot of shallow stuff that we, being from Texas, are used to fishing. So we were looking forward to it. We got there. It is only about a 3.5 hour drive from Dallas, which was nice compared to the majority of our drives are about 5 hours or more.
Yeah.
And we got there first day, and me and my partner, we had actually something really good going. We found the only spot on this entire place that had current, and it was pushing past these 3 isolated cypress trees. And when you see that with current, there's just got to be fish. It's just a regular ambush point. And literally as soon as we pulled up there, partner caught a 2 and I caught a 3, and then I think we shook 2 off, and we're like, we're leaving this alone. And then we just kind of found isolated wood, isolated cypress trees on the main river, and kind of just like little creeks that weren't marked on Navionics. That is something, little tip for y'all. If everyone's fishing creeks and they're pressured, try to find stuff that's not marked on Navionics, because I can guarantee probably at least 80% of college guys are going, and high school, are going to be looking at Navionics.
Yeah.
Try to find that unmarked stuff. But we worked more of that, shook off a couple more fish, caught a couple more 2-pounders, and then we were like, it's good enough for today. We're basically just running the same stuff over, and we don't want to pressure those fish any more than they have to. So the next day, we were like, we're going to give the main lake a try. Went out there for about 30 minutes, and we were like, wow, this place sucks. It was literally just like 3.5 to 5.5 foot deep, the entire thing, and all like a Yoo-hoo chocolate milk water. and nothing good. It all looked the same. So we were like, you know what? We're just gonna try to find some more spots. And they call it Little River, which goes up the west arm.
Sorry guys, the camera overheated again.
Yeah.
So
we've been running into that problem a few times. But as I was saying, I think I was talking about Little River. Majority of everyone fishes in Little River and doesn't go out to the main lake. But that is what, basically we put all our eggs into that basket, totally rode off the main lake. And we were just gonna try. We think we probably catch like 12 pounds out there. But y'all go ahead and say your practice experience.
So basically Millwood, there's a main lake, and then in the top left corner there's a river that goes real far up.
Yeah. I forgot to say what we caught the fish on. We were flipping a bandito bug and a D-bomb the entire time. The bomb. And that's how we caught those two, and we shook off. I'll actually roll a clip of when we caught the 2-pounder and the 3-pounder. But go ahead, Reese.
Alright. Before I was really interrupted, I was saying there's basically a river and then there's main lake. So there's, in the river on the left side, it's basically just a windy channel. There's little flats off the river that have pads and stumps. So we started there basically the first day of practice, and just kept going through the pads, I guess, and just fishing different stuff along the areas up in there that we thought we could catch fish in, and didn't catch any in there. So we kind of were like, you know what, we haven't caught any today. It was like 12 o'clock. Let's go just check out the main lake. So we went to see. Basically, the whole main lake is literally just flooded trees everywhere,
Yeah, and then
it's
there's
muddy.
a channel that winds through it.
Yeah, and so there's pretty good boat lanes, honestly.
Yeah.
But it didn't matter because we didn't end up going there. But during practice, we went down to the dam, caught some fish on a crankbait and a D-bomb down by the dam on like a rock flat, or not flat, a rock bank. So caught a couple fish there. They were both over 2.5.
Yeah, they were good fish, but
they were so far away from where we
Yeah.
wanted to fish, and it took us so long to get there. We're like, it's not special enough for us to really want to come back. So we fished up up in the northern section of the lake. Nothing. I think we caught one fish again.
Yeah, if y'all didn't know, on Millwood, everything looks the exact
Literally
same.
the exact same.
So you say, oh, that looks good. 10 feet up the river, it looks just that good. Everything just looks...
And then a mile up, same way.
Yeah,
So-
Mile down, same way. It's the exact same cypress trees everywhere.
So the first day, Mark and I were literally looking for differences because everything looked the same. We were like, if we can find one area that's different, it could be loaded. And we never found that.
No.
So the second day of practice, we stayed up in the Little River. That's where we were launching from, so we just were like, we can go there and end up catching fish there, and it's going to give us a lot more fishing time to stay up there than it would be to run everywhere. So we started there, went up. We started in a little creek, I think, and
Yeah, we started on the outside, the mouth.
yeah, so we started in the mouth of the creek, and in practice we had literally didn't catch any in the back of the creek, so it was just kind of like, we don't know if we're going to catch any here, but we're going to look for cleaner water. So we just did that, and a spinnerbait and a D-bomb were basically our go-tos. It has been the same way from the first tournament to now, because it is just, that's how you fish these lakes. And so it's fall time. Obviously the spinnerbait's going to be a killer bait. So we're catching fish in there. We went down one stretch, we caught 3 or 4 fish, and we're like, okay, this area's got fish in it. But they were just here, there, and it's just kind of like, we didn't really know if that was going to be holding out for the next day. And we really weren't on any morning bite in both days of practice. So
Neither were we.
yeah, I don't know what it was, but they weren't eating in the morning at all. And sun came out, we started fishing the main river channel because we didn't do that at all. And we would literally just go drive up the side of the river, and if we were like, that looks good, we'll go try it. And we caught fish doing that, and they were better quality fish. They were over 2.5 pounds, which was also a good one for the lake at that point, because we talked to guys from Arkansas Tech, and they said, and they live literally right next to the river or the lake, and so they were like, it either takes 25 pounds to win out here, or it takes 11.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, hopefully it's at 11, because we are not on 25 pounds.
Definitely gonna take the 11.
Yeah. So, so we were catching 2.5 pounders. We were like, okay, it could be good. We shook fish off. Then we started the tournament day. If you want to tell them how that went.
Yeah, so we started at the mouth of this cove where we caught fishing in practice. Reese tore him up on a spinnerbait. It was like perfect conditions, and Reese is really good on a spinnerbait. He just bounced it off cover, structure,
That's
just
what you gotta do.
getting him to react, and he put a trailer hook on because they were short striking it, and he was just tearing them up. So we had a limit. We got a limit pretty quick.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know what it was at tournament day, but they were chewing in the
Yeah,
morning.
they were chewing in the
It
morning.
made no sense. There was nothing
Yeah.
really different in the conditions at all. So it's just,
Yeah.
who knows?
But
they
we
were
had
eating.
a tiny limit at about, I don't know, early in the morning. It's like mid-morning. And we just decided to get out of the creek and go back to the main river where we had caught some bigger fish in practice. And we ended up culling two or three times.
And yeah,
We ended up, it was a pretty quick tournament. I mean, we were just flipping the whole time. And so we ended up going away in with
8.7.
8-7 something.
Yeah.
And what place did we get?
We got 6th place.
Sixth place.
But what really sucked for us was we both think we had very good fish on.
Oh yeah, we did.
That, what one? 11 pounds?
11 pounds.
11 pounds ones. They were right. 11 pounds one.
Yeah.
But Mark, like if you've had a big fish bite you, and you miss them, they bite again and again.
When a fish gets really big, they're obviously aggressive.
But yeah, to get to that point,
Yeah.
they have to be super aggressive to where they eat nonstop, so they grow quickly in the time that they're alive. So Mark was
I missed this
flipping
fish
it, yeah.
3 times, and I mean every time, like I just thought he had it, and I just swing on him and miss. And then the last time, he was swimming with it,
Yeah.
and I set the hook, and it was like the heaviest fish I'd felt all week. I mean, I was like, this is a good one, and then he just pulled off.
Yeah.
I don't know how I didn't get a hook in him. I mean, it's part of it.
It's just flipping, yeah.
Part of it. So, but you win some, you lose some. That's how it goes.
Yeah. And so that would because our smallest fish there was a 12-inch keeper
Yeah.
size, so we had one that was barely over 12. And that would have been a big hole. And I was horsing on a 2.5 pounder that would have also
Yeah.
jumped us up another 2 pounds, which would have also really put us way up more in the
Put us
standings.
some money.
Yeah. So. So that's how our tournament.
Yeah, we
went.
ended up in 6th place. So.
Our tournament kind of went the same way with the morning bite. We started at our canal, kind of fished the outside of it, worked our way in, and then when we got to the point, I was flipping, and as soon as I flipped in there, it started just swimming with it, swung on it, and we got a limit. And probably one of the quickest times I've ever got it. I think it was like just under 7 minutes we got a limit.
That's cool.
And they were just on that point, fished that, and then just kind of worked that entire creek. Really didn't find anything to cull. I think we culled maybe once or twice in there, and then just kept on working that thing the entire day. Kind of bounced around, never really found nothing good. And then we went back in another creek, and we went farther than we went during practice, and were able to cull I think 2 or 3 times in there. Just throwing a square bill down the center of the creek. And they were chewing the square bill really well in there, something we didn't try at all, really. And then towards the end, we were like, you know what, we're just going to go back to our creek and just fish that for the remainder, I think, hour and a half. And we were going down the bank, and my partner Ryan saw what we thought was like a 4-pounder cruising on the bank. And there was this little piece of brush, and he was just sitting there right on it. I flipped in there, and he didn't pay any attention to it, flipped in there again, and just freaking smoked it. I set the hook. I'm like, this is it, Ryan, this is it. Grabbed the net, It gets right by the boat. It dives and it comes up. I just seen the head, and I was like, that's like a 7-8 pounder. Get him in the net, and it's like a 10, 11 pound bowfin. I thought I had the winning fish on, but it was pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We found out that there was a good population of bowfin and in Millwood. If some of y'all don't know that lake, it also has the biggest alligators, I think, in Arkansas.
Yeah.
There are some dinosaurs out there.
We saw a lot of alligators.
We saw
Yeah.
5 in one creek.
Yeah,
It's
they were
ridiculous.
They were everywhere, but I think we ended up with right under 8 pounds, which I think got us 11th place again. I'm not for sure on that. But not a bad finish. It just was a weird place to fish with how we were basically, all 3 of our teams were basically all running the same stuff.
Yeah. Everyone was fishing.
And everybody else.
Yeah, and everyone else.
It was
And
literally
we were
just
all
bouncing.
throwing the same baits.
Yeah.
So it was basically just getting lucky with a couple of good fish.
Yeah.
But that was a tough event, but we were able to do pretty well in that. And then, did we have an off week between that and Dardanelle?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We
We
had-
got to throw a shout out real quick to Cameron and Hunter, the other DB team that went there. They got 3rd. They caught, right?
They had 10 pounds.
They had about 10 pounds.
996.
Yeah, so basically
Yeah,
10
10
pounds.
pounds.
They caught a big fish. I think it was a big fish tournament, wasn't it? Or
No, it wasn't.
No?
Somebody called like a...
Somebody caught a 5.
Oh, okay. So it was. I mean, it was still
It was close to 4.
Yeah, it was close to 4. So that it was nice to have at least.
What did they get,
good
3rd?
finish. They got 3rd.
Yeah, they
did
got
pretty good.
3rd. So it was
They got
3rd,
paid.
6th, and 11th.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it was-
3rd, 6th, and 11th.
Yeah, so it was a good showing. For
Good,
DBU.
good showing for DVU. And then right after that, we had an off week, and then we headed to Lake Dardanelle again. Except this time, Dardanelle was not really nice to any of us. It was very, very difficult. I'll kind of show.
Wait, did we already talk about this?
No.
No, we talked about Reese's hat.
We talked about we opened
The
up.
league.
Oh, yeah.
So starting on Dardanelle, first practice day, I caught one that was like 3 pounds, and that was it. We had nothing to go off of the first day of practice. Second day of practice was exactly the same. We had about one thing we could run because I got one bite there. And that was the only thing, not even a fish, just a bite. And we're like, this is what we're going to run. So coming to tournament day, this was a 2-day tournament for ACA. Coming into tournament day, I was pretty stubborn on just flipping the entire time. And just kept on flipping, and never ran into something. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to pick up a crankbait. And I hadn't thrown a crankbait at all in practice. First cast on the crankbait, I caught a fish. I'm like, oh my gosh, what have I been doing? So I think we were able to get 2 fish there on a crankbait, and that was it. You know, I think we had just a little over 2.5 pounds. Then the second day of the tournament, we found out that we were right next to first, second, and third place. We're all in the same creek. It was just that it was pretty much both of us just being pretty stubborn, not wanting to throw a crankbait. Eventually we did throw a crankbait, but it was a little late. First place actually had 17 pounds. Shout out to, I forget the school who had it, but they were able to get almost 18 pounds in that creek, which was insane.
That's hard to do.
I'm not exactly sure how that was done. I wish I could have seen it because that would have been cool. But we fished that creek a little bit more. On the second day, we actually had a fog delay until like 11 o'clock, which literally cut out more than half of the day. And we ran up to that same canal and just started throwing a crankbait. And like literally in the first 10 minutes, I lost like a 2.5. Just jumped and spit it. And then I think it was a catfish. I'm not sure. Something big right next to the boat. And then we were able to get 2 more fish for just a little bit over 2 pounds. 2 fish. 2 fish for just a little bit over 2 pounds in the weekend with 633. That got us in the top 100. Nothing to brag about, but it was just hard days. I'm glad we didn't zero. It was very tough fishing. But y'all go ahead.
Yeah, so we're going back to Dardanelle. Me and Reese we're excited because we came off our first college tournament. We won at Dardanelle, which was just a couple weeks before this, maybe actually a month and a half.
about a
Probably.
month.
And so we're excited, you know. We're like, our fish are probably still going to be there. They're going to be in the same area. So we go right back to where we won the tournament, and we start flipping, and we start catching fish. No big ones. Well, I mean, we started catching a lot of fish, and then we started shaking some off the first day of practice. And by the way, it was raining. And it was
We
every
left
day.
on, I
Yeah.
think, a Tuesday?
Yeah, we
Tuesday
left on
or
Tuesday.
a Wednesday. And we did not see the sun till we got back to Dallas on Sunday. It was raining the entire time we were in Arkansas. It was terrible.
Terrible. So the river ended up coming up about 4.5, 5 feet.
4.5 feet, which literally washed
Yeah, just
all our stuff out.
made everything, all our clear water turned to chocolate milk. It was a pretty bad tournament. We couldn't make an adjustment.
We tried. I mean, we literally tried. We
Yeah.
fished different stuff. We were considering, because for some reason we were in the northern section of the lake, so for some reason that area seemed to flood quicker and more drastically
Yeah.
than the southern end. So we were honestly considering whether we need to just say scrap the stuff we practice in and go look for clear water down south. We didn't do that, you know, because it would have kind of been dumb because we didn't know anything. So the first day, you caught 2 fish. You caught a spotted bass and a 2-pounder?
Pound-and-a-half or 2-pounder, yeah. We had 2 fish the first day.
Yeah. So it was definitely rough the first day.
And the second day was worse.
Yeah, the second day was worse. We were like, man, we have nothing else to run. We're gonna go back to that creek and we're just gonna stick it out there. And we fished the whole morning there. I mean, we didn't have a morning, but we fished most of the day there. We only had 4 hours to fish
Yeah.
because of the fog delay.
Oh, yeah. Y'all gotta hear about this fog delay. So the second day of the tournament, we're out there, and there's, how many boats were there? 180? Something like that? 170 something. And
Something like
so there's 170 boats in this little boat ramp area. And when you have a 4-hour fog delay, the guys start getting pretty creative. At one point, one dude in the field honked his horn. And then all 170 boats decided to honk their
started
horn.
honking.
It was funny. And then some guys, they had trolling motor races. We'll roll that clip up here. It's pretty funny. And then we even had 2 dudes joust
With their light
with
With
their
their
light
light
poles.
poles.
They were on the trolling motor, had their light poles out, and it was pretty funny. So the guys provided us some entertainment while we were waiting to go catch no fish. So
So
yeah, the second day.
yeah, we fished that creek. We were like, we're gonna stick in there, and we didn't catch anything. We didn't even get a bite. And
No.
we fished good. We were
Yeah, we
flipping
fished
everything, throwing a spinner bait perfectly, exactly where you would think fish would be, up in the trees, and just covering the water exactly like we should. And we're like, if we're fishing right like this, we're gonna get bit. And we're eventually gonna get 5. Nope, not a bite. Nothing even touched our bait. And so we're like, all right, we're just gonna scrap it. We have a creek that's a little bit closer to the ramp that's got cleaner water, and we have a shoal out there, and so it's like Dardanelle. If you fished it, typically just fishes shallow.
Yeah.
But we have one offshore spot. We're like, you know what? We need 5 fish just to eat. We had calculated it. We need over about 27 just to make it interesting.
Yeah, we need 27 pounds.
We need to go from 3 pounds to 27. So we were like, we're not going to do that up shallow flipping because they're not there for us at least. So we were like, we're going to go to the shoal. If they're on the shoal, a school could be there,
Yeah.
magic school. So we're like, maybe we can get bit. And we're fishing it. And I was on a Carolina rig, which was like, I felt like I just never done that before since we hadn't done it in
Been so long.
2 months. So I get a bite of all things and set the hook on it. And so I catch a 3.5 pounder, which we were like, okay,
Yeah, like
we're got 'em.
We got 'em.
We're gonna win. We're like freaking out, and
that was it.
that was it. Yeah, no more bites.
We'll show you the picture of the two.
Yeah, we'll roll some pictures. And then, once again, shout out to Hunter and Cameron.
Killing it.
forgot what place they got.
17th. Yeah.
Yep, they got 17th, the
With
best out of the field, and then
17th out of 170.
Yeah.
Top 10%.
and then all of us got top 100. Wasn't bad. We actually, yes. Both of our teams moved up 30 spots with catching 2 pounds on the final day. So that can show you how hard it was.
Yeah.
The lake was fishing terrible.
Yeah.
But that was it. That's our last tournaments. We now have Sam Rayburn coming up next weekend, November 16th, put on by Outlaw Outdoors. Looking forward to that. They're going to be up in the brush piles. It's going to be fun. It's going to be deep. And it's going to be cold, sadly. We all hate the cold. I'm probably going to look like the Michelin Man because I'm going to have like 30 of the heat packs on me. But
I might get some of them. Those are
Yeah.
nice.
yeah,
But we're going to give y'all more of a travel vlog so y'all can understand what goes on as college anglers, what we do.
yeah.
And
We'll have a travel vlog showing kind of the team aspect. And then we'll have another podcast kind of breaking down what we did, hopefully showing how both of our teams qualified for the Bassmaster National Championship. But we'll see how it goes, and we're looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting back out on Sam Rayburn. But thanks for watching. Comment if you have any questions, anything you want us to go over, any new video ideas, challenges, anything of that nature, something to talk about in a podcast. But as always, thanks for watching. God bless. And we'll see you on another episode of ODF.
Topic ever, and you can't do it.
you get out in front of a crowd.
You don't need a crowd. You still can't talk.
You get in front of a crowd.
You getting a cracker.
What are we talking about now?
Huh?
The next two.
Last.
All right,
Tuck your
guys.
shirt down.
Hey.
Hold on. Mark's showing the belly.
A little revealing. Yeah.
So today, I told you it's bulking season, dude.
It's not the bulking you want to be doing.